All right, friends, we are going to start chapter 13 of Amari and the Night Brothers. And before I start, I want you to just look at this picture. Okay, because you're going to kind of see who this is soon. The next morning, Elsie and I joined a bunch of trainees at the youth dormitory elevators. We found our uniforms, a gray suit for me and a white lab coat for Elsie, waiting for us in our closet. I nearly panicked when I saw my moonstone badge sparkling on the front. How did it even get out of its case? Doesn't matter. No way am I walking around with a shimmering "look at me" badge attached to my jacket. I took it off and reattached it under my lapel to keep it hidden. All around us, kids talked excitedly. Once again, I'm thankful for the distraction because no one pays much attention to me and Elsie whispering near the back of the crowd. After last night, we've still got a lot to talk about. I think Dylan was telling the truth about the letter, says Elsie. He's been honest for as long as I've known him. I'll bet whoever took Vanquish tried to trade them for Moreau. But that would mean the Bureau ignored a chance to get my brother back. Elsie frowns. They'd have to. Otherwise, every bad guy in the supernatural world would start kidnapping agents to make outrageous demands. I hate that Elsie is making so much sense because it doesn't make me feel any better at all. What are you going to do about Magician Girl 18? Elsie continues. A jolt of unease zips through me again. How did Magician Girl 18 even know I'd made a profile? I already told you I'm not doing anything about it. But what if she's the same magician the Bureau is looking for? Elsie's face goes red. What if she's Moreau's apprentice? Why would that magician want to be nice to me? I ask. I'll bet it's actually somebody pretending to be a magician just to mess with me. Like when Emily Grant and her friends sent me friend requests out of nowhere just so they could post mean things on my page. Besides, Director Van Helsing already thinks I'm a criminal. That message is the excuse he needs to kick me out. We find a spot on a packed elevator next to a large group of boys in scuba gear. Clearly, they're headed to the Department of Undersea Relations. Two girls in safari gear squeeze on last. Their name tags say they're trying out for the Department of Creature Control. You don't think they'll make us walk through the woodland predator section, do you? One of them asks. Maybe, says the other. When my uncle was 12, he went totally bald after getting too close to an African lightning bird nest during his tour. My stomach is doing flips thinking about what my own first day will be like. Supernatural investigations is the most dangerous, most competitive specialty there is. I'm pretty sure the first day is just a tour, says Elsie, giving me a soft nudge with her elbow. Nothing to be worried about. Thanks, I say, remembering that she can see just how worried I really am. I don't think I'll ever totally get used to Elsie knowing exactly how I'm feeling, but right now I need a little reassurance. Director Van Helsing's words keep replaying in my head. Surely you can't fail a tour, can you? I shake out my nerves. I've got to focus on why I'm here. I need to find out if Dylan was telling the truth about the stuff he told me last night. Elsie might believe him, but the way he turned on me in front of his dad makes me worried he might have just been messing with me. I'll just have to find out for myself, which means the plan stays the same for Elsie and me. Find out as much as we can. And this tour is the perfect time to learn my way around Quentin's department, like where Quentin and Maria's office is located and where all the files are kept. As for how we'll get into those places, we'll figure that out later. By the time the elevator arrives at the Department of Supernatural Investigations, it's half full. Around 30 kids in light gray suits all stand shoulder to shoulder. Seeing the lobby for the first time feels like I've somehow stepped into one of those old black and white movies. The floors are covered with black and white tiles. The walls are glistening white and two black pillars surround a white statue of Abraham Van Helsing driving a stake into Vladimir, one of the Night Brothers. Good luck, Elsie says as the elevator doors slide open. She gives me two big thumbs up. Thanks, I say, stepping off. You too. If I wasn't nervous before, I definitely feel it now. I gulp as the elevator lifts Elsie away. You're on your own now, Amari. It's not too late to turn back, says a single voice I recognize. Laura Van Helsing smirks at me from beside her brother at the far end of the line. Nearly all the kids from her table at the social are here too. See that statue, Laura adds? That's how the Bureau feels about magicians. She and her friends laugh, only Dylan keeps a straight face. I ignore them and find a spot at the opposite end of the line. The lobby stays pretty quiet except for the whispers coming from the twins' little group. Everybody looks just as nervous as I feel. After a few minutes, there's a loud click and a section of the back wall slides away. Agent Fiona steps into the doorway. The Red Lady, someone murmurs. It's easy to see how she got the nickname. Unlike yesterday, her blazing red hair is flowing and wild, falling down over her shoulders like it might bite anyone who comes too close with a comb. Those piercing blue eyes dart around the room like they're watching everything at once. So none of ye are any good at heeding warnings, asks Agent Fiona. No one dares to answer. Well, don't go losing your nerve now, she says, pacing back and forth in front of us. If ye can't find your voice in front of me, what chance do ye have against a forest of tree zombies closing in for a bite, or a score of stone-skinned gargoyles circling above ye with ill intentions? I'm sure you'll see to it we're ready for whatever comes our way, says Laura Van Helsing, stepping forward from the line, and I, for one, am ready for the challenge. Ugh, Laura is so full of herself. Agent Fiona stalks over, stopping directly in front of her. She towers over Laura, sizing the girl up. You've got the look of a lass who's hunting glory, little Van Helsing, and trust me, there's a good bit of glory to be found as an agent, but there's no surer way to fail at this than to go seeking it out. You'd do well to remember that. Ye all would. She's basically telling Laura Van Helsing, the kind of snotty one, that sucking up or being too cocky about it is not going to help her. She should be humble, right? I'm enjoying the embarrassed look on Laura's face when those blue eyes find me. My heart skips a beat. Peters, Agent Fiona calls out, step forward. And here I was hoping to stay invisible today, but I do as I'm told. The way I feel as Agent Fiona approaches me is how gazelles must feel when a lion shows up. She puts her face really close to mine, staring into my eyes. It's completely different from how she looked at me yesterday, and it's all I can do just to stand my ground. Did I do something to make her mad? I suppose ye think you're special with your fancy badge, better than the rest of us. I shake my head. No, says Agent Fiona. Then can ye tell me what on earth made ye put down junior agent when ye ain't got a supernatural ability to speak of? I do have a supernatural ability, I say. It's just illegal. Same difference in the end, says Agent Fiona. When a werewolf's got ye by the throat, ye can be sure he won't be giving ye the courtesy of a timeout to let you work out if it's okay to use your illusions or not. So tell me, why are ye here? Agent Fiona read my intentions yesterday, so there's no point in lying. To find my brother? I hate how shaky my voice sounds. So ye don't want to be an agent to help others, only yourself? That right? And if I said you're wasting your time, that in all my years of training agents, I've never seen a worse prospect. A few kids snicker at that. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Laura clap a hand over her mouth to keep from laughing out loud. Agent Fiona might as well have punched me right in the gut. It's the same as always. Somebody looks at me and thinks that I'm not good enough. I drop my head. Nothing to say, lass? Maybe I'm not Quentin, but I bet I could be a decent agent if I decided to be. I'm tired of being underestimated. You're wrong about me, I squeak out. What's that? She says. I said you're wrong about me. I can be an agent. So ye mean to prove me wrong then? I will prove you wrong. That's so. Well, it ain't just me doubting ye. Agent Fiona points to the row of kids behind me. They doubt you too. Same goes for all the higher ups who were so eager to tell me to turn ye away. What have ye got to say to that? I don't care. I will be an agent. The Red Lady's expression softens so that she looks more like the woman who fought for me yesterday. She lowers her voice so that only I can hear. Keep that wildfire burning inside ye, lass, and let all of their doubts become kerosene, because ye know what I see when a lass is maligned for something she can't help, and yet she still shows up anyway. I shake my head. Courage, says Fiona. And that's what separates the wannabes from the agents in the end. Quentin didn't nominate ye because he needed a rescuer. He nominated ye because he believed you can thrive here. Only you've got to believe it before anybody else will. She leans back and unclips my moonstone badge from beneath my lapel to place it back in its original spot. Now, back in line with ye. I glance at the other trainees as I step backward. A couple look back at me with hesitant smiles, but most everyone else looks wary or even mad. It doesn't matter. Agent Fiona is right about one thing. I can be brave, have to be. Agent Fiona cracks a wicked smile and opens her arms wide. Welcome to Junior Agent Tryouts. Of all the trainees who wrote down Junior Agent on their cards, the 32 of ye are considered the cream of the crop. Those fancy badges you carry signify you've got plenty of potential, but you've already come as far as those will take ye. For the privilege of wearing this suit, you'll have to prove you're worth it in the tryouts. Now then, the name's Senior Agent Melanie Fiona, and as ye may have gathered, I'm the one in charge of training and tryouts. There'll be 3 tryouts in all, designed to evaluate whether or not you're cut out for this. Simple enough. Any questions? Can you really tell a person's intentions just by looking at them? Asked a red-faced boy with a gulp. Ah, Billy Pogo, answers the red lady, reading his name tag. It's my supernatural ability and plenty useful when it comes to interrogating baddies. Her eyes flash. Right now it's telling me ye can't wait to get this tour over with so ye can get back to that slice of sweet potato pie you got stashed back in your room. You're amazing, says Billy, wide-eyed. Agent Fiona gives him a wink. Don't I know it? Could you give us a clue about what these tryouts are? This is from Dylan Van Helsing. Not a chance, the red lady laughs. Ye should know better than most that these things are very well kept secrets. And even if I did tell ye, who's to say I won't change me mind later? Is there anything you can tell us? I ask nervously. 3 things, Agent Fiona replies. For starters, while it's true we'll be training ye before and between the tryouts, your ability to pass won't just be a matter of how well ye learn. You'll need to have the right stuff already inside ye, the kind of traits you can't teach. Second, she continues, the last tryout is called the finale. It's a culmination of all the training you've received. Comes in 3 parts, an exam on supernatural facts, a display of technique while dueling with sky sprints and stun sticks, and finally, a demonstration of your supernatural ability. Don't expect ye to be masters, but you'll need to have gained some level of control over what you can do. Peters, we're still debating what you'll do if you make it that far. And the third thing, blurts a very anxious-looking girl. Ah, answers Agent Fiona with a smirk. First tryout comes this Friday, meaning it'll be a short summer for a lot of ye. The announcement sends the lobby into a commotion. Friday is less than a week away. I know there were 8 spots last year, says Dylan Van Helsing. How many spots are available this time? The lobby quiets, waiting for an answer. Agent Fiona frowns. We had a few older agents who were set to retire but decided to putter on for another year. Means we can only offer 4 spots this summer. If there was a commotion before, this sends the group into an all-out panic. I feel it too. Am I really capable of beating out 28 other kids? Agent Fiona raises her hands and the lobby goes silent. Quit your whining and carrying on. Ye all knew this was the most competitive specialty. She grabs a short stack of paper from behind the Van Helsing statue. Now, let's get these schedules handed out. I'm the first to get one, so I take a quick look. Junior Agent Trainee Summer Camp Schedule, Week 1. Supernatural Investigations Tour. Supernatural Knowledge Exam. Intro to Sky Sprints. Supernatural Immersion. First tryout, 32 trainees drop to 16. Weeks 2 and 3, Sky Sprints, Wall Running, and Aerial Maneuvers. Supernatural Immersion. Intro to Stun Sticks. Supernatural Knowledge. Second tryout, 16 trainees drop to 8. Week 4, 3 question marks. Finale, 8 trainees drop to 4 junior agents. Weeks 5 through 8, junior agent training begins. If I manage to get through the first tryout, I'll have 2 weeks to find out what happened to Quentin before I've got to prove myself again. But is that really enough time? It'll have to be. Now that you've had a moment to review your schedule, Agent Fiona calls out to the whole lobby. Let's get ye all separated into tour groups. When I call your name, come and stand beside me. Peters, you stay put. It's just my luck that I get picked for the first tour group along with Dylan Van Helsing. Why does he even need a tour? He must have seen this place hundreds of times growing up. Agent Fiona addresses my 8-person group. You're encouraged to ask questions while we tour the department, But more than anything, you'll need to keep out of the way. A lot of important business is being conducted that can't be disturbed. Ready? Then follow me. When Agent Fiona punches a code for the door, it hits me that I'm about to walk the same halls, see the same sights that Quentin did. The thought puts a warm feeling in my chest, but it also makes me miss him terribly. The door slides open, and Agent Fiona leads us into a wide hallway. It's a fast-moving river of gray suits, SWAT team gear, and fatigues going in both directions across a black and white tiled floor. This is the main hall, calls Agent Fiona over the noise, leads from one end of the department to the other, making a giant U. Every area in the department can be reached from this hallway. If ye ever lose your way, simply seek out this hall to right yourself. We start up the left side of the U, keeping close to the wall to stay out of everyone's way. I stare up at the various wanted posters and Agent of the Month plaques. Agent Fiona brings our group to a quick stop when agents come bustling through a doorway, struggling to control a 10-foot-tall furry creature in ripped blue jeans and a green Save the Trees t-shirt. It's not making things easy at all for the agents, squirming and kicking its feet wildly as it howls. I'm innocent, I swear I was a Sasquatch, not me. Agent Fiona shakes her red tangles. Again, Bigfoot? What have you gone and done this time? The agent wrestles Bigfoot through another door on the opposite side of the hall. Agent Fiona tells us to stay put and follows them inside. Half a minute later, she sticks her head back through the door and waves for us to follow. Line up just there and keep quiet, says Agent Fiona, once we've all crowded into the small room. Bigfoot is nowhere to be found. I've asked to take over so I can give ye a glimpse of what we've done. A few minutes later, an angry little bearded man in a green suit is brought in. He looks like the grumpy uncle of the guy on the Lucky Charms box. Is that a real leprechaun? I blurt out. I've really got to stop doing that. The little man turns around. Well, I ain't a bloody fake, that's for sure. Agent Fiona shoots me a look. Sorry, I mouth. Dylan Van Helsing chuckles beside me. I asked the same question the first time I saw one. That leprechaun still sends me hate mail. I laugh, but then quickly turn away from him. Maybe that's rude, but I won't forget what he said to me in front of his dad. Don't be like that, says Dylan. Who do you think vouched for you with my father? I told him how Laura and her dumb friends were teasing you. Dylan is the witness Director Van Helsing was talking about. He's the reason I wasn't punished for my fire illusion. I turn back to face him. This isn't a joke to me, okay? You can't be mean to me one second and then nice to me the next. I don't know if I can trust you or anything you told me. Dylan goes quiet and I turn back to Agent Fiona. In a moment, I'm going to show ye 5 faces, she says to the leprechaun. Point out the one who took your pot of gold. He nods. Gotcha. Agent Fiona gives the far wall a knock and it shifts into clear glass, revealing a strange group of people. Things, creatures. First is an actual bear. Beside it is what looks like a man in a cheap Chewbacca costume. Next to him is Bigfoot from the hallway. Then another Bigfoot, only its fur is gray and it's dressed in a fancy red suit and sipping a cup of tea. At the end of the row is a person-sized ant in a trench coat. An actual ant that's taller than I am. How did I never have any idea that all these things exist? That's him, shouts the leprechaun, right there in the t-shirt and jeans. Agent Fiona gives the transparent wall 3 knocks and Bigfoot is led away grumbling. The other Bigfoot, the gray one wearing the suit, just rolls his eyes and adjusts his monocle. Agent Fiona is about to tell us something when the gray Bigfoot steps into the room. Melanie, darling, he exclaims. When they told me it was you out here, I simply had to come say hello. Sorry to keep dragging you down here every time your cousin gets out of line, says Agent Fiona. I know it's a hassle. Nonsense, says the gray Bigfoot with a wave of his hand. Gives me a chance to try to talk some sense into him. Crime doesn't pay and all that. Falls on deaf ears, but as they say, you can never give up on family. He gasps as his eyes land on me. As I live and breathe. Is that the Amari Peters? I wince. As Agent Fiona says, that's her, all right. The gray Bigfoot sweeps into an elaborate bow. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Sir Francis Sasquatch III of the Yellowstone National Park Sasquatches, formally knighted in both fairy courts. An absolute pleasure to meet you, sweetheart. You're all anyone's talking about. Really, I say? A magician at the bureau? The gossip practically spills itself. What kind of gossip, I wonder? Well, I simply must be going, but if you're ever in the market for a good cave hideout with reliable escape routes, or maybe even a nice underground lair of off the beaten path, I'm the woodland real estate agent to the stars, honey. Think of me when you're done playing at this junior agent business and looking to start your criminal empire in style. Good or evil. When it comes to my clients, I don't pick sides. Here's my card. Toodles. I take his notebook-sized business card and frown. A hideout, an underground lair. Is that what people think of me? That I'm destined to be the supernatural world's next supervillain? Agent Fiona leads us back into the main hallway. We follow it past the briefing auditorium to the tall wooden door protecting the great vault that Agent Fiona says is impenetrable. We end up at an area that's glassed off, with people passing in and out of glass doors. This is the operations bay, says Agent Fiona, the central hub where the director and assistant director oversee the missions carried out by our agents around the globe. We have outposts on every continent. Even Antarctica, I asked. Especially Antarctica, answers Agent Fiona. One of the 7 great beasts, the abominable snowman, has been hibernating there for nearly 3 centuries, and sedatives must be given on a monthly basis to ensure he continues his slumber. He ain't called abominable for nothing. Tell you what, I'll give you all a hint. Know your beasts by heart. It's a question that gets asked every year in the final. Most of our group presses their faces against the glass to gaze into the huge space full of men and women sitting at long tables topped with computers. Massive screens cover the other 3 walls, making the operations bay look like a NASA control room. One screen has the words helmet cam written at the top and shows agents in gray suits raiding a haunted house. Zombies pour out of doorways and the agents keep slicing them to dust with burning swords. Another screen shows a smirking elderly man in a dusty rocking chair. This one is labeled Moreau Interrogation. That must be Moreau, the magician, like me. All right, I'm going to stop there. I did not get to finish chapter 13, but we will finish that next week.